Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I'm your host, Rubina Rastafan, aka the Realist Astrologer. And tonight I'm honoring a request from my sister. She wanted me to do a reading on Kevin Hart in the wake of the recent scandal he's in regarding this sex extortion tape. So, actually, our article came out today on people.com just stating that the woman that he was with, her name is Montia Savage. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm not exactly sure though. But basically just stated that she's working with the police and Kevin Hart's attorney in order to try to find the person that is trying to extort Kevin Hart. So basically, to make a long story short, if some of my viewers aren't aware, Kevin Hart has recently been caught up in a scandal because he cheated on his pregnant wife with this Montia Savage, and someone had them on tape at the hotel getting all lovey-dovey and stuff. So they contacted Kevin Hart and was like, you know, you better come up off some cash or we're going to tell your wife, we're going to release it to the press, all that stuff. So Kevin Hart made this apology video to his wife, to his family, just saying that, you know, he had a moment of weakness or whatever, and you know, he really wants to try to do better and all that stuff. But, you know, time will tell with that. And when I see his chart, I'm like, okay, he may want to do well or he may want to do better in terms of his marriage, but he's dealing with an uphill battle with the energy that he's working with. So I was just going to get into his chart and discuss some of the energy I see that contributes to this scandal and also to him being a serial cheater. From the looks of his chart, he's definitely a serial cheater. So I'm just going to get into that. Now, Kevin Hart was born on July 6, 1979. That makes him a Cancer. And he also has Venus in Cancer, and that's part of the problem for him. If you know anything about Cancer, you'll know that Cancer men, they need a woman. They always need women. Rarely will you find a Cancer man without a woman. Even if, you know, they're just, you know, casually dating or whatever, a Cancer man needs to have a woman. So that's strike one against him. Now, he has a wife, so you would think for a Cancer man that would be sufficient. But with Kevin Hart, not so much so. And then, like I said, it has a lot to do with his Venus in Cancer, because his Venus is at the 0 degree of Cancer. That right there is considered the Aries Point of Cancer. And planets that are at the Aries Point, basically it's the 0 degree of any cardinal sign. So that would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So if you have a planet at the 0 degree of a cardinal sign like Kevin Hart does, then that can produce fated circumstances where things happen that are basically against your will. Even if you contributed to whatever transpired, it still can be some third party comes into the mix and makes your life more difficult. But the Aries point could also produce some good things, but in Kevin Hart's case, it's not so good because it's his Venus and he's a cheater. So whenever he cheats, he runs the risk of getting into a situation just like how he got into with Miss Montia Savage. So to compound the situation, so his Venus is at the 0 degree of Cancer. Matter of fact, I took some notes. Hold on. Okay. His Venus is at the 0 degree of Cancer, and it's forming a quincunx to his moon. Now, a little information about his birth time. Now, I don't have his birth time, but I estimated his birth time to be around 10 a.m. And the reason why I say that, for a few reasons. The reason why I say that is because Kevin Hart is very short for a man. And when Saturn is in your first house, that can result in you being very short in stature. Also, that would make him a Virgo rising if he is born around 10 a.m. And to me, that fits his whole body type and everything like that. And even his demeanor in some respects. Also, putting his birth time at around 10 a.m. is going to put his moon at the 0 degree of Sagittarius. So that 0 degree of Sagittarius, that is pure Sagittarian energy right there. And it makes a lot of sense because he is attracted to women that look exotic or that got that multicultural look going on. Even his first wife, she had kind of like a exotic look going on with her. So he's definitely attracted to exotic looking types. Just look at this Montia and look at his wife that he has now. What's his wife's name? Both of these women got weird names. Eniko Parish is his wife, and Montia Savage is his was his little lover. Now, so even their names point to moon in Sagittarius. Now, the moon in a man's chart points to the type of women that he is attracted to, the type of women that he's prone to get with, and also it could point to his wife. Now, Kevin Hart also has his Mars in Gemini. Now, that's going to produce a man that has appetites for more than just one woman. Now, that's not always the case. You got to look at other factors in the chart. But in Kevin's situation, he has his Mars opposed to his moon in Sagittarius. His Mars is at the 7th degree of Gemini. 7 is a number of secrecy. It's a number of cheating. It's a number of where you're trying to keep things hidden. It's also a number of fantasy. So Kevin Hart has this big fantasy thing with him, and what exacerbates that is that his South Node is in Pisces. So his South Node in Pisces points to him being prone to fantasy, being prone to cheat, being prone to sneak. So in this lifetime, he needs to move away from that whole type of behavior, which is why it's so easy for him to get caught up like he did. And his first wife even said that he cheated on her as well. So this has been an ongoing pattern for Kevin Hart. But, I mean, this is true for a lot of men. Not saying all men cheat, but a lot of men do feel like, you know, they should have some type of leeway even while being married. And Kevin Hart is no exception with his Mars opposed to his moon in Sagittarius. Now, that's somebody that feels like they should be able to be fully independent despite being married. Or you could look at it as he's like two different people. He operates in terms of two different people or two different personas. And that's how he can be married and justify going out and dating these women, having sex with these women on the side. He also has that celebrity thing with him. And, you know, celebrities, they feel like they just, you know, it comes with the territory. And that also makes it hard to resist because all this temptation. So that Venus at the Aries Point, Venus at the 0 degree of Cancer, that's basically like women coming to him. They're basically being that temptation. And it's very hard for him to say no. But, however, again, with that Mars opposition moon, there's a good chance that he goes out seeking these women as well. Not that they're just always coming to him and he's just weak-willed. With that Mars opposition moon, he is seeking a lot of these women out. Also, he has Sun square Pluto, which is very hard, especially for a man in terms of trying to be faithful and monogamous in a marriage. Sun square Pluto will just naturally cause you to be prone to dip outside of your marriage, especially if you don't have a strong system of ethics and morals or spirituality. Sun square Pluto can also set you up to be blackmail, which is exactly what's going on with Kevin Hart right now. So basically, like I said, someone is trying to blackmail him or extort cash from him because they were threatening to release that tape. So he has Sun square Pluto. Like I said, his Pluto is in Libra. And if you listen to my Ace of Cups radio show 2 weeks ago, I talked about the Pluto and Libra generation and how they have problems with relationships. Significant problems. And usually it's about power and control. Also, Pluto is conjoined to the asteroid Cupido, which can deal with a love interest. And because it's conjoined to Pluto, it could deal with a love interest or someone who is out to get you that has gained your trust. So it could have been somebody that was with them that night, or it could have been somebody that he had sex with and that, you know, they got beef with him because maybe he dissed them or whatever like that, or, you know, he didn't give her all that she wanted out of the deal. And next thing you know, she sees him and that other chick at the hotel, and she's like, "Oh, you know, let me take this and let me use it against her." I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened if it was another lover of his that is trying to blackmail him. Also, he has Juno at the 0 degree of Gemini. I mentioned that his Mars is in Gemini, so that Juno at the 0 degree of Gemini, that can basically point to, like I said, with the Mars, he's being like two different people in a relationship or a marriage. he has a need to have this separate side of himself so he could go do whatever he wants to do, whether it's have sex or whatever. So he has it bad in terms of relationships, in terms of trying to be faithful. He also has Mercury and Jupiter in Leo. If his proposed birth time is accurate, like I'm proposing, that would put Mercury and Jupiter and Leo in the 12th house. That right there can point to being videotaped as a result of your sexual indiscretion, because Leo is the sign of sex. Also, oh man, there was something else I wanted to say. Trying to think, because he got a few things in his chart that point to issues with women and issues with relationships, but he also got the asteroid Persephone. That's at the Aries point, so it's right on his Venus, so that exacerbates things with women. Basically, that means that a woman can actually bring him down to the depths of despair or the depths of hell, so to speak, for an extended period of time. So this case, it may be kind of dragged out. He also has Atlantis, which deals with dragging things out. It's right on his Venus as well. So he has it bad. Atlantis is one of those asteroids. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I was thinking of Australia. Atlantis is one of those asteroids that can deal with disaster, or where you're sensing this impending doom. Also, Atlantis can deal with you abusing your power, you abusing your special gifts and talents, and that you getting caught up in the process. So, yeah, scratch what I said about stretching things out, because that's Australia. I got it confused. Atlantis is the one that's next to his Venus, and that points to basically feeling impending doom. So it could deal with, when he goes and dips and dives, he might feel, because he's a South Node in Pisces, he might sense that he's doing wrong and that he's about to get caught up. But because of that Mars opposition Moon, Sun square Pluto, he finds it very hard to control his lower drives, his animal nature, his lower chakra impulses. That Mars opposition Moon makes him very impulsive. So even if he wants to do right, it's going to be very hard. So that's going to bring me to the tarot, because I want to pull a card to see if he's going to be faithful from here on out. I don't see it because of what I see in his chart. But let's see what the cards say. Is Kevin Hart going to be faithful from here on out with his wife? Just 1 second. Five of Wands. That's a definite no. He is not going to be faithful. He is not going to be on the straight and narrow. And the thing is, his North Node is in Virgo, which means that in this lifetime, he's supposed to be on the straight and narrow. It's conjoined to Saturn, which means that his karma is connected with that. So that means that when he tries to live through his South Node, being sneaky, cheating, and all that type of stuff, he's going to get a healthy dose of karma. So now that the floodgates are already open with the karma with Kevin Hart, if he doesn't stop, like if he hasn't learned, and looks like with this Five of Wands card, he's not going to learn his lesson. This Five of Wands card is, I still want to play the field. This is a classic play in the field card. So now that he's already gotten spanked, Saturn can deal with getting spanked, getting disciplined, having to face your karma. Once he does it again, it'll probably be even worse. So he needs to really try to control himself. But like I said, with that Mars opposition Moon, Sun square Pluto, it's going to be very hard for him to control himself. He also has a life path number of 3, 12, and 3, which can make it easy for him to get caught up in scandals as a result of being excessive, wanton, and greedy. And his birth number is 6, and that makes him just be very, very much attached to women. So you combine that 6th birth number with him being a Cancer, and basically he is just a fool for women. Like a pretty woman, yeah, he just loses his mind. And he needs more than one woman. So somebody like him should not be married. And a lot of people need to really, determine who they really are in terms of relationships so that they can avoid these pitfalls. But somebody like Kevin Hart wants his cake and eat it too. But he's getting burnt in the process. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment, and I'll be making some more videos soon. I finally got on top of some work. I finally am able to have some free time now. And if you would like a reading, you could go to my website at rabina.com. Thanks. Peace and many blessings.